Hey everyone, it's Army Gaming. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Monster Legends. Welcome to a monster analysis video on one of the newest monsters, the new cosmic monster, Teddievr. And he is the newest multiplayer tournament monster. So it does appear that every 2 cosmic tournaments, so every even number cosmic tournament, we're going to be getting a brand new monster, at least as of right now. So that also means this is going to be your last opportunity to get heists. If you haven't gotten them, maybe you should do a couple PvP battles and get those tier 5, tier 4 eggs and get some heist cells. So with that being said, let's go ahead and analyze this new monster, Teddievr. We're about to start a new multiplayer tournament, so these are the last days we will share with Heist as our multiplayer featured monster. Consider this the last call to get the cells. You need to craft them before it's too late. You can always rank him up with Stardust, but you need his cells first for the egg. Don't rest on your laurels, so this is really important. Make sure you get the monster, right? Even if you don't like him, even if you don't think he's that awesome, make sure you get the monster. It is super important that you get him, because who knows if there's going to be a future way to get the monster. As of right now, right, it's his final day. Starting on Friday, the new season brings a new multiplayer monster, Teddievr. You'll need to overcome your fears just like he does if you want to get him. Oh wait, Core. When Golgi saw the cosmic rain, she confused the shiny Stardust for shooting stars. Days before the rain, she had an epiphany, a vision in which she saw dark times ahead, so she looked at the bright sky and made a wish, thinking that the stars would send her a spirit stronger and scarier than any of the potential predators. However, Stardust works in mysterious ways, quite different to real shooting stars. Thus, instead of a protectful spirit, Golgi was sent something completely different, a big mechanical bear called Teddievr, because sometimes all you need is a cosmic cowboy. And so that is how this monster came to be. So Teddievr is an earth attacker with shields and healing skills. Sometimes he'll risk his allies' health, not much of a protector, in the process of dealing the most damage to enemies, but he can protect them with shields and damage protection to minimize consequences of his own attacks. Teddievr has an evolving trait. At rank 0 he's hardened, at rank 1 he's tough, and at rank 3 he gains a 50% damage protection at the start of the battle, which basically means it is tough to kill this monster, I guess, if he's not attacking his own team. So we'll talk about that right now. So I have already seen these monsters in a previous sneak peek, but now we get the actual stats. So this is awesome. This is really, really great to see what this monster has to offer. So starting things off with a life stat. So this monster has a life stat of 74,797, which is actually the second highest of the cosmic monsters, tied with Rotten and Slugazoid. Currently, Bomb Beta and Hardy have the highest life stat. Moving on to power, this monster has a power stat of 7656, which is also tied for the second highest with Vanoss 2099 and Heist. So once again, the monsters with the highest power stat are Hardy and Bomb Beta. Very funny how an attacker and a tank have the highest life and power stat. Doesn't make any sense to me. Anyhow, the speed stat, this monster of the cosmics is tied for the slowest, tied with that of Thunder Kong, Heist, and Bomb Beta. So yeah, 5632, that is a slow stat for cosmic monsters. With that being said, we already talked about the traits, hardened and tough. I think this is great. So it starts off as hardened and then it upgrades to tough. So it reduces the likelihood of negative effects landing on you, which is amazing. So this is just like an umbrella trait, how I like to call it. You know, 30% of the time, 35% of the time, off the top of my head, I don't remember. You won't get hit with a control skill, a freeze, a possession, a stun, and it does look like Social Point is releasing more of these monsters that can do your conventional control skills. If it's some sort of torture skill, again, you won't get hit. Like, you have a less likelihood to get land if you didn't have this trait. At rank 3, you get a self-damage protection 50%, which is just great. This monster has one of the highest life stats in the game, and thanks to the damage protection, you know, he technically has the highest life stat unless you remove that status caster, because, you know, to kill him, you gotta deal double the damage you would normally have to deal. Alright, with that being said, his relics are the armor and the shield relic. He's an adventure, mechanical, and he's an exclusive monster. Alright, so basic attacks. This is not scary. Deals moderate earth damage to one enemy, 40 damage, no cooldown. Hey, we're back to the old mythics getting 0 cooldown skills. So this does have a 22 stamina cost, but yeah, 0 cooldown, 40, especially when Kodama is a monster that's heavily used, right? Siamese, a lot of players still using that. Glamhead, Gaidaigo even. So it's always useful to have a 0 cooldown skill. Moving on, we have Oh Wait. Applies a 50% life shield to itself. This is actually a spammable skill. 0 cooldown as well, 26 stamina cost. But I don't know how effective this would be considering you're an attacker, considering you're going to rock some strength runes. Unless you rainbow build them, I don't see this actually being that applicable to this monster. Alright, the next skill deals moderate earth damage to all enemies and applies daze to all enemies. 35 AoE on a one-shot cooldown is pretty nice, and it also dazes, which, considering you're tanky, This reduces damage output by 25% and it reduces accuracy, so if they miss, that's great. If they don't miss, their attack is reduced by 1/4. So yeah, that has a 39 stamina cost. 5 Nights Surviving blocks out 50% of damage received, heals itself by 30%. This self skill I actually like because damage protection is really one of the best things. It's better than increasing your life by double. Because, for example, let's take this example. If you had 50k life and you were hit with some sort of dot that took away 10% of your life, let's say curse, right? If you're hit with curse, 10% is 10%. If you double your life, 10% is still 10%. With damage protection, it actually cuts it in half, so you would only lose 5%. So it's better to have the damage received cut in half by 50% because it also applies to dots. So I like this, and you also heal by 30. So yeah, even on an attacker, like, it's a good self skill, especially maybe you get possessed or something. Hey, 5 Nights Surviving, and now you become, like, more impeccable. Moving on, Time to Eat Tacos sounds good. Heals itself by 50% and removes negative effects from itself. So another good self skill, this time it's a higher heal, but the trade-off is you don't get the damage protection, but you do remove negative effects. So if you did have a lot of dots, or maybe you had a mega possession, hey, you're no longer mega possessed. So you have 2 self skills right now. I'm not seeing too much damage output right now, other than the 35 and the 40. Let's see what else. Eat the Frijoles blocks out 50% of damage received for all allies. That's very nice, and applies a 30% life shield to all allies. That is very nice, because now your whole team is protected. The bad side to this is only if you were to get possessed. Let's say you're facing Black Feather, and then Teddievr decides to eat frijoles for the teammates, for the enemy, I mean. Well, now they get the damage protection and the 30% life shield. So this would really backfire in a situation where you get possessed. So I mean, obviously you can just change skills to fit the situation. If you're slower than Black Feather, probably not a good idea to run this skill, because you could get possessed and the AI could give it to the enemy. All right, let's see. Call Me Mr. Teddy. Deals very heavy earth damage to an enemy, applies a 30% life shield to itself. So strong 60 damage suture and cooldown skill that also gives its monster a shield. So yeah, he's definitely an attacking tank. And then Bullet Rain deals heavy earth damage to all enemies and allies. So here we have a 45 damage AoE, but unfortunately you also attack your team. I'm not a fan of that. The AoE is definitely strong. Even when we look at the mythic monsters, the regular mythics, there's probably like 3 to 5 mythics that do a 45 damage AoE. But they don't attack their teammates the way TeddievR does. So I'm not a fan of this skill. I feel like I don't think this monster would actually deal 45 to your team. Maybe the damage to your team is lower. We'll definitely have to test it when this monster comes out. But yeah, I don't think I would do it. Even if you set up with a Eat the Frijoles first and then Bullet Rain, it's just not worth it. Honestly, just do your 35 damage AoE and then Call Me Mr. Teddy, 60 damage to a single enemy. You know, it's always better to wipe out an enemy monster and then move on to anyone else. Ha, man, this monster's so interesting. And I will say, I do like that Social Point is making interesting monsters, and because they could have made him just a generic attacker, right? But they added a very nice element to it, in the sense of, hey, you want to deal more damage, you attack your team, but you can also protect your team. So I do like that all these monsters are being very unique. So that much is cool. I'm looking at the monster. Looking at this monster, I think if I was using them, I'd probably do Eat the Frijoles. I'd go with the 60 damage, the 40 damage, the 35 AoE. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do the self skills if I'm running with 2 strength and a speed. The only time I would put in those self skills is if I do think there's a chance he'll get possessed. Then you know what, I want to try to maybe use the self skills. But yeah, I mean, interesting monster, very interesting monster. 60 damage for sure. That's your strong attack. Bullet Rain, I can't get myself to attack my team. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would actually use this monster. I don't see this monster being a meta monster. The self damage protection, it's nice too at the status caster, but I feel like because we have a lot of cosmics that can remove positive effects, like Ignis is a team race monster, the upcoming team race monster Tabora also have positive effect removals, he doesn't become that tanky, right? Even though he can reapply, and well, he has Eat the Frijoles, and then he can self reapply with 5 Nights Surviving. I don't see this monster being that much of a threat. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I see most players probably running him 2 strength and a speed. I don't think I'll see Rainbow that much. So I think they're just going to go after damage output. And if that's the case, you really only have that 60 damage, that 35 and the 40, because you don't want to attack your own team. That just wouldn't be smart. So I don't see this monster being meta, but I mean, he's going to be easy enough to rank considering he's in PvP. Let's talk about the ultimate. Gabriela applies Pierce to itself, deals very heavy earth damage to all enemies and all allies. Why are you attacking your own team? Oh my gosh, no. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I like the uniqueness of the monster, but I just don't like the monster. I don't think I don't think it'll work out. I would not. This is the one monster I would not want to alt with. Because you know how an alt can basically change the course of a game and you go from losing to winning? Well, with this alt, you go from losing to losing because you're going to kill your own team. Yeah, I'm not feeling the alt. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys see some sort of strategy or synergy with this monster. If so, let me know in the comments below. Super curious to hear you guys' thoughts on this monster. But again, I would just say run him as a typical attacker. Don't do the skills that damage your team. 2 strength and life, and you could also do rainbow if you want to, and maybe prioritizing some of the tankiness. I think what would have been game changer if Teddievr had a taunt skill, then I could see him being used a lot more, right? If he had a taunt trait, then I think he could have gone as one of the best monsters in the game. But having no taunt, having no mega taunt, and yeah, being able to survive like when the enemy can just cleanse and attack teammates, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Teddievr. But with that being said, guys, that is my analysis. Like I said, I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about Teddievr? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much, and remember to subscribe.